Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Zoids review. This one's probably going to be a bit of a quick one. This is another wind-up kit from the original Zoids Wild line in Japan back in 2018. So this is the Takara Tomy Dilofos, I believe it's called. In the English dub for Zoids Wild, it was called Caller, I believe. And it's another small raptor type Zoid similar to the ones we saw early in the series. And similar to the one that was adapted into the English version, the Hasbro lineup for Zoids Wild. But we never got this kit in English because they never did a wave 2 of the Zoids Wild line. So a lot of these are lost in Japan sort of forever, which is fine because we still have access to them. This one I found kind of on a whim at a secondhand store. It was traded in used, although it was never opened or built. So I had the opportunity to actually build this thing out of the box, even though it's a couple years old now. As for the lore of these things, they only show up in the Zoids Wild anime much later in the story, in episode 37, and they were designed by the Dark Metal Empire to be a Zoid that could be mass produced and implement the Dark Blast feature. So these were kind of meant to be small infantry Zoids that would implement that new feature. And we only really saw them sort of as, small cannon fodder towards the end of the series. But other than that, they serve a lot of the same function as the other small rideable raptor types that we saw throughout the rest of the series, with the very notable exposed pilot that rides on the top there, which I'm sure is not the least bit safe, but people have already commented on that as far as Zoids Wild goes to death. So I don't really want to repeat any of that. But as far as the model kit itself looks, these guys actually look pretty decent. There's scarcely few armor pieces that add a lot of color to this guy, and the caps are in yellow, which is a bit of a stark standout. But it doesn't conflict too hard. He's got the nice metallic red eyes there that show through the nice little green helmet. And one thing I really love is how the flaps on the side of his face kind of move in and out. I'm not exactly sure what type of dinosaur that's a reference to, but it looks really cool, and it's nice that it has another piece that moves there. Same thing with this part back here, and of course it has a little gimmick as well. When you move this lever back here, it will actually lower the entire head and open the mouth to give you some kind of, action and posability there. So the fact that you can flare that out and open his mouth is really cool. And he does have, of course, the wind-up motor, as you guys are familiar with. Very similar to the Rev Raptor and the Gun Sniper from the original Zoids line. We have a little under-barrel wind-up crank type piece right here. And I just launched the pilot off, but who really cares about that? This piece detaches right here, and it fits into the sort of concave screw hole there, and you rotate it like it's a like you're doing like a Phillips head screwdriver type of situation. And it just kind of walks and swings his tail back and forth. It gets the job done. Maybe I'll try to wind it up a little bit more, see if I can get it to walk. It needs a little bit of help. I'm not sure that the wind-up motor is powerful enough to move him on its own, which is a little bit of a shame. But the actual walk cycle and the motion looks really good, and I like how organically the tail swings back and forth like that. Very simple build process for this guy. Should take less than 5 minutes, if that. And most of it is just assembling all of the skeletal pieces onto the little wind-up motor and then attaching the armor bits on top. And overall, he does look pretty cool. He has a lot of nice molded-in detail, as is pretty standard with the Zoids Wild line. I think I'm having a hard time getting the camera to stay focused there. His little arms are not articulated or detailed in any way. They're just little nubs that kind of hang off there. They're not even separate pieces. They're just attached to the body. So he does have, tiny little T-Rex arms that are very ineffective and very much so useless. And they don't even have, caps or anything on them. They just have these little molded-in nubs right there, which is fine. But yeah, just a simple little guy. Of course, his armor wants to pop off now. There we go. Just a simple little dude. If you're a fan of these small wind-up kits from the Zoids Wild line, I definitely recommend this guy. I don't know if I like him quite as much as the Beetle type ones, and I wasn't really that big of a fan of the original Raptor, the red one. I didn't buy that one, but if I see one of the Hasbro ones still lying around, like at Hobbytown or something like that, I may pick it up just to kind of complete the collection. But yeah, these guys are not bad at all, but you definitely get what you pay for. I wouldn't overpay for one of these guys. They should only cost you about 10 bucks or so, even from stores from Japan, minus shipping and stuff like that. If you can get them imported and do a bulk order with some larger Zoids, that would definitely be worth it. The boxes are, as you can see, pretty small and should be easy to ship. And if you can, there's probably still some stores out there in Japan and in the Philippines that still have these in stock. So I wouldn't overpay for these guys at all. I think it was like $7 or $8 for my used one that I just happened to find, luckily, at that secondhand store. But yeah, not bad at all. Definitely recommend them if you can get your hands on them. But like I said, I wouldn't really overpay for them. But that's just a quick look at the Dilofos. Doesn't really have a whole lot of lore. Only has a few appearances in the anime. And then the model kit itself is just, simple wind-up kit, exactly what you'd expect given the other wind-up kits that we've taken a look at from the Zoids Wild line. So with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.